Okay, so I'm with Jamie and Karan White, who are the principals of Pod Legal, a legal firm, a boutique-style legal firm in Melbourne and also Brisbane in Australia, doing some pretty good things out there in terms of social media and content marketing, which we'll go into. But I really first want to know, everything you're doing is very unlawyer-like a lot of the time. So from your website through to the your name. But let's look down at the name. Why did you call it White Lawyers, like every other legal firm?
Wonderful question to start with, Trevor. That's a question we get asked a lot. We certainly wanted a name that was memorable, something that was capable of standing out in the marketplace. For that reason, we thought that a short punchy word in front of the word legal would be very good. In terms of the word pod, it was a real process of elimination. Karan and I threw ideas back and forward for days, if not weeks, and we eventually came up with the word pod. It just came out. There was no real reason for it. Possibly it was the fact that we have many clients in the technology space and everything seems to be branded iPod or podcast these days, so it was a catchy word that fitted our criteria. Also, pod means to nurture and grow, and by the very nature of the work that we do, we assist clients through the commercialisation process. But interestingly, a secondary meaning or third meaning in this case was the fact that it's an acronym for point of difference. That was inadvertent, but suited very well.
So you do take a bit of a branding or a marketing look and feel for a lot of things that you do. So if I look at your website, you've got a new one up. It's very, again, unlawyer-like, iridescent green. You've got lots of drawings on it. What can you tell us about why have you sort of gone down that path as well? Same reasons?
Yeah, very much the same reasons. We really want to stand out in a fairly crowded marketplace. We want to disrupt the legal industry in some regards. Certainly the scales of justice don't appeal to us too much. We really wanted to stamp our position in that industry, and certainly...
That's heresy, no scales of justice.
Very controversial, isn't it? But I think it's important, and it's about, connecting with our community, our business community, and bring a little bit of our personality forward as well. It doesn't need to be scales of justice. It's about making information accessible and obtainable for people, and that's really important to us and part of the message that we like to communicate.
How old is the firm?
Yeah, the firm's just entered into its third year. In terms of size, we have, as you mentioned, Trevor, the two offices, one in Melbourne, one in Brisbane. We have 11 or 12 staff at any given time, some of which are administrative in nature, others are legal. So
you've carved out a pretty serious niche as a commentator in a couple of areas, Jamie, trademark and copyright infringement, and perhaps more specifically now the law as it relates to social media, which is obviously a new and evolving area. How did that come about? Was that sort of a conscious decision, or you love the net or technology?
Yeah,
what's the story behind that?
I guess in terms of our specialisation with the firm, it came about. All my study was geared around technology law, intellectual property, and e-commerce law. I've always practiced in those areas. I haven't practiced in any other area at all. So it was natural for our firm to be based around those things. But the reason I geared my study and our practice around that was just because it was interesting, and I have always had an interest in e-commerce, but secondly because we looked into the crystal ball some time ago, some 10 years ago now, and saw that the issues that are emerging now were always going to happen. So a little bit of vision.
I suppose if you are practicing in social media, which probably means you have to be reading every night because it's going to be changed the next day, but you're also, as a firm, or certainly as two principals, very approachable and accessible. You're both on Twitter. I see that you're always giving tips and advice and commenting on cases and that sort of thing. You also got the firm's got a Facebook page. Looks like you're experimenting with Google Plus for a bit, and getting a blog happening on the website. how important is participation on social media for your brand? But more importantly, does it generate business? What's the ROI of social media for you guys?
It's really important, you know, and we know you talk about being a connected brand, and it's nice to put that label on it. I think we were doing that unconsciously because that's what we do, and we love social media, we embrace it, and when we talk about our practice areas, it's not to suggest people shouldn't use social media. We say go for it, you know, become that connected brand, use these incredible tools that you have available as a business to bring your personality to the community, to the world, bring your information and knowledge out there, and deliver that information to those various platforms. It's very important to us, and we enjoy social media, we embrace it, and yes, we are experimenting with Google Plus, and we're going to see a lot more activity around that, and we do engage on our Facebook page and with the broader community around our practice areas. We do enjoy it. And it does return significantly to us. We would probably generate 3 or 4 new clients a week through social media. So really? That's a substantial return.
Is that by having relationships with people, or people are sort of lurking and they see you're helping others and say, by the way, I need something like this, or a combination?
I think it is a combination, Trevor, because we practice what we preach. We love it. We follow people, and we take an interest in what we're doing. So we might, pay attention to see what they're doing. But I think that's reciprocated as well. And it's like any relationship. You get out of it what you put into it. So we will actually get clients come to us, they see us in that space, they want us to assist them with their IT, IP, social media requirements, but we also have a lot of people approach us regarding speaking engagements through social media as well. Particularly, we're working a lot in industries that are a little bit risk adverse, so medical, pharmaceutical, where they see that a professional service, a legal firm is engaging in social media happily and readily, so it must be okay. So we're pushing the boundaries a little bit there, but we see tremendous benefit in using these platforms.
I think above all too, just to add a final point, using our social media gives us a wonderful opportunity to humanise our brand.
You're talking about lawyers and being human. What's going on there? And lime green, what's going on? And now I'm going to talk about cartoons.
Controversy.
I know. On one side of the coin, there's always social media participation. I always say there's two sides to this coin, and the other one is content. And on your website, you've got considerable content. But we'll go into that in a minute. I want to get to the bottom of the fact that you have cartoons as part of your content marketing strategy. What's the story there?
Well, we call them podtoons. Podtoons. And I guess the podtoons are a way of delivering complex and important legal messages in a fun way. It was our way of getting out into the market important messages, but in a fun way, and cutting through all the marketing noise out there. So it is very unique. I'm not sure it's been done before in the legal industry, certainly not purposely created cartoons. But we've had wonderful feedback in relation to the podtoons, and although they're challenging to write, we do enjoy it, and you can expect to see more. Excellent.
We'll keep an eye out for that. But you have other elements in terms of content. So you've got lots of articles, heaps of articles around things like IP and internet law, technology law, and the like. You have pod tips. I'd reckon even your FAQ section, I would consider that content for content marketing purposes. And you've got quite a lot of activity on the website, etc. So is that all part of the marketing initiatives of what you're trying to achieve?
It's probably a combination of marketing, but also being connected, because there's a lot of stigma attached to a law firm, and typically we see they're unapproachable, and it's about giving back, giving our information. We have a very strong philosophy in our business to provide information, and that doesn't need to be in exchange for a fee for us. So we do have all those resources on our website, and we want to have those conversations with people. Ask us the question, but engaging with them, we enjoy that process. On our Facebook page, we'll have a Myth Monday, so we'll bust a myth relating to legal services, or a Tuesday tips. So we want to have conversations with people through those platforms. So partly marketing, yes, but also about giving back and giving our knowledge and expertise into the community without expecting anything in return.
Now, I think, just to add to that, I think by empowering people with knowledge, it means that when they do have a requirement for assistance in relation to our specialist areas, we will be top of mind, and we find that is the case. People contact us and we ask them where they came across us in the first instance. Quite often it's some time ago, but of course now an issue arises, which is why they're contacting us.
So you see, from a content marketing perspective, content is working for you in that regard.
Absolutely.
That people have read some of your stuff, but probably didn't need your services at a time, but they remembered you.
That's totally correct. Yeah, that we see that happen quite a bit. There's a story of where we questioned a client not too long ago as to where he came across Pod Legal, and it was sitting in a cafe on the Gold Coast. He was waiting for a sandwich or coffee to be made, and that was some time ago, and he recalled us and got in touch when he needed us. So of all the times you question whether some of these articles that you write or sometimes the content that you're pushing out is worth it, that question is often answered sometime later.
And is there any sort of hint of SEO, or is it purist in terms of these are the questions people ask for us, and this is what the information we know that they want help with, so we're just delivering it?
Yeah, very much that. We certainly don't. We're not motivated too much by SEO strategies.
So, and probably the more premium content on the site is some PDF ebooks on certain topics. I think to get those, you ask for an email. That obviously goes to a database, so you've got a newsletter as well that goes out.
We do, and the ebooks are free. Again, it's providing that information to the community and making it readily available. We do record the email address, but we issue one follow-up. Thank you for downloading our ebook. Do you have any questions? And we encourage people to contact us. We don't add that email address to our newsletter database unless we've received consent to do that. Okay. So again, it's just
to start the conversation.
Having that contact point. Hi Trevor, thanks for downloading our ebooks on trademarks, your business edge. Do you have any questions? Please feel free to contact us if you do. So again, it's just building that relationship.
And that's deeper content too, isn't it? So they're obviously more interested in that space.
Yeah, we're acknowledging they've participated, we're here, ask the question, and we love to answer those questions.
Yeah. And I guess I always talk, as you know, I talk about being a connected brand. Part of that is to be open and accessible, be active on social media, produce content that's relevant and genuinely helpful. You're ticking a few of these boxes, by the way. But also to sort of add value to the industry and the community in which you operate, to be a participator, is that a word? And also to be interesting and to get involved. And I know you talk a lot about your business community as well. What are some of the other things you do over and above that, not necessarily social media, but they're just things about getting out and getting involved and that help your community, which you obviously feel very passionate about? Okay.
I might start off with this one, Jamie, and then you can talk about some of the things that, some of the other things. But we have a flagship event, World IP Days, coming up in April, and that's a free event that we're making available to our business community. We have a panel of expert speakers. Each year a theme's allocated for World IP Day. Intellectual property, it's the cornerstone of every business, whether it's your manuals, your processes, procedures, your logo, all these things. It's your intellectual property, and that's what we build our businesses on. So for us, it's, again, really important to educate people about what IP means to your business. And this year's theme is incredibly exciting. It's creativity, the next generation, and we have got a fantastic panel of speakers that are going to address how to be creative, how to be innovative, and then we've got some interesting speakers that will speak to how they've achieved incredible outcomes through managing through those IP and creativity and innovation processes. So an event like that will be held in Melbourne this year. It's free for people to attend. They're world-class speakers, and we make that information available.
What's the date of that?
That's the 26th of April. We'll be launching the website for that event next week, but there is a World IP Day Australia Facebook page currently, so there's a little bit of information on that. But in terms of other things to the community, Jamie, you might mention Bond University.
Yeah, we've over the years we've you know, held public events in order to share information and have at those events panels of speakers on various topics. A recent event was how to create an awesome brand and own it, so we had different people talking about that. But again, it's just all about hosting these different events. Usually they're free of charge, and again, it's just to empower people with information.
So you're talking about, that's always interesting too, having a legal firm and having a different aspect of it, talking about branding and the importance of it, because it obviously goes back to the heart of IP, because your brand is your IP. So,
and that's it, and that's how we select our speakers. They're creating awesome brands. We had a very well-known publisher speak at that event, so you know, we don't position it from a legal context where it's going to be dry and boring and dull. We don't do that. We don't do that. So we get some really great speakers in to give first-hand examples of, you know, what is the material that we're speaking about, how they've applied that successfully in their business. So people can connect and understand and take that information and make it relevant to them. So, yeah.
it's obviously working because you're busy people.
We are, but we enjoy it. We wouldn't want it any other way.
We do.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for sharing all your tips and your learnings and everything that you're doing behind the scenes of Pod Legal. Look forward to watching things with more progress and running into you on the social interwebs.
Thank you. It's our pleasure, and we enjoyed being part of this.
Thank you, Trevor, for the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.